So Breath of the Wild 2 is apparently coming holiday next year, according to leaks, and of course according to Nintendo saying that it's going to be a 2022 release. So holiday just makes sense, especially since we haven't seen much of the game yet. And from what we have seen, it hasn't been a lot. We can tell that there's some type of Ganondorf guy that's trying to corrupt the whole Hyrule and lift the castle from the ground, and that now we have some floating islands in the sky that Link can traverse with a couple of new moves. But for the most part, we are still a lot in the dark about this game. I mean, shoot, we still don't even know the title of this game. So I am very excited to see what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to bring to the table, but at the same time, I'm also very, very worried. Now, of course, today I'm going to make reason of all my worries, and every problem that I have, I'm going to offer a solution. So I'm not by any way and any means trying to say that this game is going to be terrible or it's going to be bad, but I am worried, and it's okay that I have my worries. I'm supposed to have my worries. After all, I do cover lots of Nintendo stuff, and I want to make sure that this game is as good and as exciting as the first game was. So once again, every problem that I have or every worry that I have is going to be followed up by a possible solution that Nintendo is going to do in order to fix that problem or something that we haven't even seen yet. So do not worry, I'm not just blindly hating on a game that we don't even know anything about yet. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo all the time. So my problem number one would be the map. From what we've seen of the gameplay trailer from the second trailer, Breath of the Wild 2, it looks like the map is almost identical to the one from Breath of the Wild 1, and we even see a pan out of the castle and everything around it and everything in the surrounding area looks pretty much exactly the same as if this is taking place just a week after the calamity struck, and which probably is such as a direct sequel. I don't know how that's going to be with the map. I'm really worried that the map is not going to change all that much and they're going to focus on little pieces and stuff in the sky, but overall, the overworld on the ground is going to stay the same. This actually can't be the case. If this is the case, this is going to really hurt Breath of the Wild because one of the best parts of that game was just looking around this vast landscape and exploring and finding everything. We have seen this world so much, and especially those out there that have collected every single Korok seed or just explored every single part of the map. There's a lot of people that I've even talked to that says they know the map like it's the back of their hand. Now, personally, I'm not like that, so it wouldn't be a complete devastation for me. There's still a lot of places and stuff that I probably forgot about and don't remember quite as well. But for a lot of people, this will be heartbreaking to not be able to explore anything new and anything crazy on the ground and just remember everything that we've already seen and seeing it all again. Well, there are lots of reasons why Nintendo could have this, look so similar to the first game. One could be just the game is still in development and they just didn't show us anything on the overworld. Maybe they just kind of plopped in some old overworld and showed us some enemies because the game wasn't it wasn't ready to show us anything. And maybe they're hiding something big in the shadows still and like the whole world's actually changed. They just haven't showed us in an actual trailer. But I also thought, what if there's just a hidden world? I mean, we see Zelda fall down underground. Maybe there's some type of a complete dark world or something, low world or something underneath the castle. That would be crazy, and I wouldn't even mind having the overworld stay the same if we had another world the size of the first one underneath. Like we had two worlds to explore, maybe one with Link and one with Zelda. Could you imagine? That would be amazing. But maybe the islands in the sky, maybe there's bigger ones, and maybe there's like vast ones that take us to dungeons and stuff, and maybe it's just drastically different than the ground to the point where it doesn't even matter if the ground's changed that much. And then, of course, there's also the solution of, the ground just definitely being different. Just some spots are going to look the same, but there's going to be a lot of changes. Maybe like a kind of update on a Battle Royale map where, they add some biomes, add some regions, but overall, you still recognize a lot of the stuff. That could be the case. I really don't know. But I feel like there is definitely going to be some different things added because this game's been in development for a while, and they're working really hard on something. It wouldn't be that long in development if they were just adding a couple things in the air and a couple things on the ground. But I really do think something's going to change with this map. My second worry is that enemies look too basic as well. They look like the same exact enemies that we've seen from Breath of the Wild 1. The Moblins and Bokoblins both look the same with some minor makeup changes, and even bosses such as the Step Talus is essentially the same with just a Bokoblin enemy camp on top of it. I just kind of don't understand why there hasn't been anything new shown with the bosses or with enemies. The only kind of new enemy I think that we've seen was a like in a cave, but besides that, there really hasn't been anything else besides some type of dragon statue which could be just an NPC and not even a boss or an enemy. So we really haven't seen anything yet. Once again, it's still early, but still I think we should see something new, some type of enemy from the past or something, and it just seems very bare right now with what we have seen. So a solution to this would just bring back some old enemies from Zelda. There's so many that have not even been touched in Breath of the Wild yet, like a Dark Nut, or maybe even Redeads. That would be really cool, and maybe just add some new ones. That would be interesting as well. We also need unique, fun to fight bosses this time around, instead of just big bosses that mob around the map and we just kind of hack and slash with. You know, it's just, I don't know, it kind of gets old, and even with the Hinoxes, the Septalis, you know, obviously everybody loved Lionels, they were fun and engaging to fight, but for me, the Hinox and the Septalis were just kind of big enemies that we just hack and slash. You got on the Septalis' back and hashed at the rock, and then you just kept slashing at the ankles of the Hinox. It was just rinse and repeat, and I want some more unique ways to take these guys down. I'm also simply just worried because there hasn't been much shown. The game was revealed 2 years ago at E3, and after 2 years of development, we have gotten super small details to the point where we still know pretty much nothing about this game. That is kind of weird. Now, that is a Nintendo thing to do, to announce something extremely early and then not be ready anytime soon. I mean, look what happened with Metroid Prime 4. It completely restarted development, but we need to see some information. We was hoping for something at the Game Awards this year and got nothing, so hopefully there's something soon, because we need to see what this game is about and what the heck is even the title of the game. We're tired of calling it Breath of the Wild 2. It's gotta have some type of new title, and we gotta know. They did say the title was going to reveal a major part of the game, but you kinda gotta tell us the title before it releases. It doesn't really make sense. Simple solution to this is just to show more of the game. It's just that easy. I remember Breath of the Wild 1, they constantly showed us stuff through its development. Through year by year by year, they showed us different types of gameplay from even the beta stages of this game as it got completely uphauled, rehauled, and changed drastically. We haven't seen really any actual gameplay of this game. We've seen a couple scenes of Link flying and kind of doing dodges, but we haven't seen combat or anything. So we need to see some more gameplay. I think they could easily show off some gameplay at the beginning of the year direct, coming probably in January or February of next year. So that's exciting, but something in my gut tells me that they're going to end up holding off until like E3 before they show us anything about this game again, which is going to be devastating, because we need to see some more stuff about this game. They need to build the hype back up, because I feel like even with the 2 trailers that we have already received, they haven't showed us really anything new that we needed to know right now, besides, yes, Link is going to be on islands in the sky. And for my last problem, I think the fighting and movement seem to be exactly the same, to the point where the mechanics look incredibly similar to that of the first game, where Link's not really gaining anything new. The only thing that does look different is it doesn't look like he has a Sheikah rune slate anymore. It looks like his arm is the new ability maker, and that's cool. He's got new abilities that he can do with his arm, but I hope the combat actually is evolved somehow. There's just something that wasn't too fun about running around, finding a giant sword, and just smashing wide on every enemy that you see. I want to see more strategy involved with fighting and maybe more items used, and maybe his arm can do some cool things like that. That's obviously going to be a solution. Maybe we just don't see anything right now, and at the end of the day, like, we really don't see him fight anybody within the trailer. He just dodges a couple times and flies down. But all of his movement looks exactly the same. His running animation, his gliding animation, it all looks exactly the same. And of course, it's a sequel. It probably is going to be the same. It's the same engine. It's pretty much the same overall moveset. But still, that's a little worrying to me. I hope that they do something to kind of change up the combat a little bit. Now, of course, the solution to this is maybe they just straight up didn't show combat for a reason, because there's some crazy new weapons and ways that Link can fight, and we just don't know about it yet. That is definitely a possibility. We haven't seen Link really swing a sword yet, or shoot anything like an arrow or anything. We've seen him with a new shield, however, with a dragon head that breathes fire as he puts up his shield, but that's really about it. So there's still so much time to see things, and obviously with his new arm, maybe this can all tie into battling. We see time warping and teleportation, so maybe there's a whole bunch of new things that Link can do that enhances the gameplay and the combat. So we're probably good here. I'm not going to worry too much about this. I just think the main problem with Breath of the Wild, and if it had any problems at all, would be that the combat sometimes got very boring as you just walked up to an enemy and slammed Y. Yes, you had the quick time event where you can hurry up and quick dodge out of the way for a flurry attack, but after playing a game like Age of Calamity, which I know is a Hyrule Warriors game, obviously the fighting is going to be more in depth, that just feels like really exciting fighting, and I would kind of want a mesh of Age of Calamity and Breath of the Wild put together. The exploration of Breath of the Wild and the combat of Age of Calamity Hyrule Warriors. But now the final verdict, it obviously is still way too soon to tell how this game will pan out by the end, but I'm definitely excited to see some actual new things shown off in a big way. They need a big trailer to give us that shock factor, because I still haven't had that yet. I need a trailer to make me say, oh my goodness, this game looks phenomenal. Yes, it's cool that Link can run on the islands in the sky, but it still hasn't made me kind of fall out of my seat of awe the way the first game did. We still don't even know what the title, which might be a big reveal, like again, of the major plot point of this game. So obviously Nintendo's keeping that close to their chest for now. I think it's a matter of time until we get all these worries answered, and with this very long development cycle, there is sure to be some crazy things that we still don't know about this game and have no clue, and it's probably going to shock us at the core. It's Zelda after all. It is a great track record of being pretty great at the end of the day, so we have nothing to worry about. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think this Zelda game is going to be absolutely completely different than the first game, or is it going to have a little too many similarities of Breath of the Wild 1? Let me know your opinions down below if you're worried. If not, tell me why you're not worried. It might help me out a little bit. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.